These 3 tips are going to make sure your first interaction with a military recruiter is a good one. And I speak to this as somebody who even has a trophy from his time as a recruiter, as well as, look at this, I was the recruiter of the month, and I was the station of the month, and the station of the year. So let's dig in. The first one is do your own research prior to talking to a recruiter, right? Your meeting with the recruiter could take 30 minutes, it could take 2 hours, and a lot of that is going to be largely dependent on what you already understand. So if you just have no idea what you're getting into, it's going to be a much longer interview, which is fine, but just know that. You don't want to be drinking from a fire hose and not have answers, for friends and family. They're going to be like, oh my gosh, what did you love about it? And you're going to be like, I don't even remember what we talked about because it was too much information. Also note, no recruiter is going to understand every single job in the military. Like, it is our job to have a cursory understanding of the majority, but the only one they're going to have intimate details about are the ones that they actually did or worked with. And so just understand that if you're really interested in 3 or 4 specific jobs, go to Google and just look for that job and just look and read and learn and understand on your own what those jobs, how they operate. So that in theory, that'll help you have a smoother transaction because now you won't have to hound your recruiter about a job that he may not actually understand. And worse, he might even just not be, he might have a decent understanding and give you an answer, and then he's dead wrong because he actually didn't work with that unit. So, all right, number 2, understand the process. So here's what it's going to look like. You're going to do screening questions. So for the Marine Corps, the one we use is the acronym iCombat VP. And I will say that this acronym was what I used in 2013 to 16, so maybe it's changed. They've probably added stuff on. But it was hey, do you have any implants, pins, plates, screws, rods, bolts in your body that I need to know about? Do you have contacts? Do you wear contacts or glasses? Any vision issues? Cool. Do you have any operations? Have you ever had any operations? Anything that needs an operation, any operational related stuff on your body that I need to know about? Any medications that you've ever taken? Now, I don't mean Advil, but were you ever prescribed medication? Have you ever, are you now or currently, or have you ever had a prescription for, ADD, ADHD, depression, anxiety, whatever, blood pressure, any of this stuff? Broken bones. You ever broken or fractured anything? No? Okay. Dislocated? No? Okay. Asthma. You ever had asthma or any lung/respiratory related issues? And I've got other videos on what these questions mean, how to answer them, and how to set yourself up for success. I'm not going to dig in. I'm just telling you what the screening questions are. Asthma. Tattoos. Do you have any tattoos or piercings on your body? Cool. What are they? Where are they? Can we see them? I'm not saying you're going to have to take your shirt off, but are they, can you be seen in a t-shirt? Are they on your head, face, neck, whatever, hands? What are they of, right? If you have a swastika, that's no-go, sorry. Vision, any vision issues, stigmatisms, nearsighted, farsighted, colorblind, depth perception, anything that you know of. And psych, any psychiatric issues, mental health issues, documented. Not oh, I think I have anxiety, but documented. If you are oh, I think I have anxiety, but I've never talked to anybody about it, you might as well bring that up to your recruiter because he's going to tell you the same thing I would tell you, and that is essentially don't self-diagnose yourself. It's not cool at MEPS. It might be cool in high school to have things wrong and be self-diagnosed and blend in. It's not cool at MEPS. It'll screw you. So be open with that stuff so they can coach you through what to say and what not to say and how to say it. Then you're gonna do a practice ASVAB. We have a fake ASVAB test to kind of see where you're at, right? And get a ballpoint for where you're gonna score and whether you need to study. We'll do an interview. For us, we did these benefit tags. We'd have you pick from 12 different benefit tags, on what was important to you. Some of those were confidence, travel and adventure, financial freedom, physical fitness, poise. There was just a bunch of stuff, right? We'd lay them out in front of you. You pick 1 or 2 or 3. You pick your top 3. Then we would say, okay, well, hey, if fitness was important to you, why? And we'd kind of figure out what the root of why that's important. Because for some people, it's I just want to be a jacked stud and get laid. And for other people, it's my dad died at 35 years old because he was out of shape and he had a heart attack. Oh, well, those are very different reasons. And then we're going to talk to you about how the Marine Corps can help you meet those goals. What we're going to do to help you gain those things. We can meet all the benefit tags, obviously, because we picked the 12 most important things to most people, what most people join for. But this way we speak to your most important, desires and show you how the Marine Corps can help you get that. And then that's the interview. Then we'll do, if you say yes and you want to join, we'll do a DD Form 2807, which is a medical screening. So this is like a 2-3 page questionnaire of yes/no questions for any medical issue you've ever had. Anything you put yes to, we will then make you write out on the back. When you're filling this out, they'll actually say, hey, if you think you have a yes, pause. Because if you get like 3/4 of the way down and you mark a yes, then you have to go do the whole form again if that's actually not a yes. For example would be like if you marked anxiety and then you had never actually been diagnosed with anxiety. Well, now you got to redo the whole form because that's not actually a diagnosis. We don't know that you have it. Don't self-diagnose. Or if you mark no for like a broken bone and then you had one, you got to redo it. But you can't make any errors on that form. And so you'll do that form, then you'll probably do an SF-86, or you'll probably take home an SF-86 to fill out and bring it back sometime that week. That's like the background check. So that's kind of, all your personal information, like where your parents are from, mom's maiden name, your social security number, like jobs that you've had, places you've lived, anything you would normally do in a security clearance background check. Then we'd schedule you to go up to MEPS, which is the Military Insurance Processing Station. I've got like a 40-minute video coming out that talks through exactly what to expect at MEPS. It's a full MEPS brief, so make sure you check that out. Then you'll be in the DEP, the Delayed Entry Program, and that's kind of where we help get you mentally and physically ready for recruit training to make it an easier transition. So that's understanding the process. Number 3 is don't be too job locked, right? Like don't be job dependent. Don't be demanding. Don't be like, the way that jobs work is first come, first serve. So every October they open up for the new fiscal year, and they prioritize seniors because you're coming into your senior year and you're like, I want to do this job. They want to prioritize that person over someone who's like, well, I left high school, then I went to college, then I had a job for 2 years, now I'm 25 and I hate my life. Now I'm ready to join the military. If you're both looking for that job in October, and it's only one job, they're going to prioritize it to the senior over you because they'll be like, well, you could have joined, this is not your year. But you still have, like, you still get plenty of jobs as a graduate. You're just not, like, it's only if you're, like, both vying for the same job and you're both qualified. There are other things that can disqualify you. So, like, some branches like to promise you a job prior to going to MEPS. The Marine Corps doesn't, and the reason is that we don't know what you're really qualified for until you've taken the ASVAB. Your any waivers for legal or medical stuff or drug stuff are all signed and done, and then color vision can change it, depth perception can change it. There's something else, but there are a couple things medically that could change what jobs you're qualified for. And so we don't want to promise, like, over-promise and under-deliver. We don't want to set you up for something that, like, we then have to say, well, sorry, you're not qualified, so now you got to do this. We just say, hey, we'll talk about jobs when you get back. So don't be super job blocked. The Marine Corps, like, honestly, it's based on the needs of the Marine Corps. So, like, we do groupings, like different types of groupings, like electrical. But I don't know if you're going to be a helicopter electrician, a pilot, an aircraft electrician, or, like, a comm electrician. Like, it's electrical. We do a comm grouping, so all the different communications group. We do an intel grouping, so all the different linguist and intel stuff. And then you'll have to take another test to qualify for that, the D-Lab. That's one of the other things that could change. And so, we're going to talk through, once we know exactly what you're qualified for, like, hey, this is everything you're qualified for, what interests you from that group. That's how we do it. Not, like, oh, hey, promise you the world, even though we don't know what you're really qualified for. Some jobs are going to require that additional testing. And I always did hate that the Army promises these jobs and then they can change it once you're already in the DEP. But, some branches, they all do something different. So just don't be super, super, like, demanding and job locked, because it really is a turnoff for recruiters, because it's like, we're going to do the best we can. We are going to work with you. But if you're like, I only want to be a Marine because of this one job and I refuse to be a Marine unless I get that job, it really just, to me, it sounds like you're not committed to being a Marine. Like, I want you to want to be a Marine so bad that you would be a Marine no matter what job you got, understanding that you can later lateral move and change your job. And those were my favorite applicants. The ones who were like, I don't give a fuck, send me to boot camp. Cool. That being said, jobs are important. We will work with you on that. Like, we're going to try to get you in the job that you want that can help you long term. It's just that we can't guarantee that stuff. There's so many variables. Okay, and I'm just going to leave this as a last point here. This isn't something that you need to do to prepare, but it is the recruiter's job to get you in the Marine Corps, to sell you the Marine Corps. And some of them wanted to be recruiters. Some of them were told they're going to be recruiters. We call it voluntold. And that being said, they may not be the best at it. Like, especially if you get a newer recruiter. they're going to make mistakes. In my experience, they're not lying to you. Sometimes, they may speak to something they probably didn't have enough information on. They're not lying to you. There's a stigma that recruiters are out there to get you. Here's the reality. 95% of recruiters I've met joined the Marine Corps for a reason and fell in love with it. That's why they stayed. That's why they re-enlisted. You don't become a recruiter on your first enlistment. You have to have re-enlisted or submitted a re-enlistment package. And so if you re-enlisted, it means you like the product. You enjoy serving in the Marine Corps. You believe in it. And so a lot of times, like if a recruiter comes off kind of pushy or salesy or like really trying to like, dude, what the hell? Like, you said this is what you want. Why aren't you willing to commit to doing the thing that can change your life? It's not because they're like, oh my God, I have a quota. Like, we don't get paid extra if we enlist an extra person. I wish. That'd be great. I would have made a lot of money because I was a good recruiter. And if we sell you a bag of shit, it doesn't help us, because when you come back from boot camp, you're going to tell all your friends that we're full of shit, and then they're not going to join. Like, the best recruiting tool I had was taking someone, sending them to boot camp, bringing them back to the high school after boot camp to go interact with their friends. And they carry themselves differently. They're sharp. They look good in uniform. They're confident. They're fit. They're a completely different person. And when people see that transformation, they're like, oh shit. Like, that representation is the best marketing for the Marine Corps. So I'm not going to sell you a bunch of crap, because I want you to come back and speak highly of both me and the Marine Corps. But that being said, I love the Marine Corps. I, to this day, believe the military is one of the greatest things you could do out of high school. And so if you're telling me, like, you've got nothing going for you, and the Marine, like, you tell me, like, the reasons you want to join, and the Marine Corps can meet all of that, and I can visualize what your life will be like for you in 2, 3, 4 years. If I don't like you, I might just be like, all right, fine, if you want to do this, fucking come back when you're ready. Like, I literally had told an applicant or two when I was the boss, I'd walk out and be like, dude, we got people who want to join, so, like, are you going to do this? Like, shit or get off the pot, because that recruiter could talk to someone who actually wants to do it if you're going to just be a puss. And I actually had one kid that was like, all the time, wishy-washy, and I finally just told him, I was like, look, dude, I don't got time for this. When you're ready to be a man and join the Marine Corps, like, I'll be here. But until then, please go figure yourself out so I can focus on people who do want to be here. And that sounds like harsh, but the reality is, like, the military was the best thing I ever did. And so when I see what it could do and how it could help somebody, it's very hard for me to accept them choosing mediocrity or choosing not to, especially when it's like, well, my mom doesn't know if she wants me to. This is what you want, dude. When you're 60, are you going to look back and say, I'm so glad I let my mom talk me out of that? Or are you going to be like, man, I wish I'd tried? Like, chase your own goals. So I was very, very rare that I was actually pushy with applicants. But if I was, it was because it was like, dude, I know that we can solve so much for you. Like, the worst thing for me was when I saw someone who had, like, major financial distress, terrible home life, nothing going for them. Like, the world was against them. And I could just see how much the Marine Corps could change their life. But they were scared to do it. And it was like, those were the ones I tried to push. I'm like, look, dude, like, come on, man. This is going to be the best thing you've ever done. And I'm still in touch with most of the people I enlisted. One of them was over here for cigars last week. Like, we still communicate. We still hang. So, it really did make an impact in a lot of these guys' lives. And I've been around the military for a long time. There are plenty of people who do 4 years, realize it wasn't for them, get out, and they didn't really enjoy their time in. I have yet to ever meet a single Marine veteran in my entire life who regretted joining. They might not have enjoyed it. They might not have stayed past 4 years. I've never had a single Marine Corps veteran tell me, I regret having joined. I should not have been in the military. It's a good thing. Anyway, what we do at this channel, what we actually do is we help service members and vets achieve financial freedom. So we help you use your benefits and understand your VA loan and set yourself up for success financially. So I'll drop a link down below. Download my book. It is free. You can buy the physical copy, you can buy the audio copy that I'm narrating, but the PDF version of it is 100% free on my website. Go download a copy for yourself. And it's everything I wish I'd known when I joined the military. So it's like a real book. It's not like a little pamphlet. It's a real book but it's going to talk to you about how to set up your thrift savings plan, your 401k correctly, so it actually makes you money. How to use your VA loan when the time is right, how to get promoted faster, what jobs are great, how to transition out of the military when the time comes and set yourself up for success with disability pay and transition assistance and tuition and GI Bill and all this other stuff. And so I would just encourage you to go check that resource out. And we've got a ton of free content. Honestly, I have nothing to sell you if you are not even in the military yet, because the only thing I do sell my community, you have to be currently serving or a veteran to even be eligible. And so nothing to sell you. Go check it out and set yourself up for financial success and success in the military and after. That's what we're here for. And if you got something out of this, share it with somebody who's thinking about joining the military. Subscribe, comment, all the things to help engagement and help the channel and help us spread the word. Have a great freaking day.